All right, sorry for the delay, boys and girls. Here is today's video. Now, today's trade was actually taken on oil futures. People say, can volume profile be used on anything else other than the indexes? Yes, I myself have traded it extensively across gold, oil, forex, indexes, and I've even used it on crypto as well. And it works across the board. Okay, the same principles apply. Today's trade setup was an A rank trade setup that was actually called out beforehand during our live session inside of school. So here was the call out beforehand. I'll play the clip here. It was an absolutely awesome setup. Yeah, that's decent. Developing value low, lower VWAP, and previous day value low in an A rank spot. 3 confluences. Boom. Oil TP hits. Boom. Dug into a little bit, but no fear, boys and girls, no fear. Trust the A ranks. Oh my goodness. Like I said, always exit at POC, at least get most of your position up at POC. If you hold a runner after exiting at POC though, congrats, wow. And at the end of the video today, I'm gonna share a little something with you on A rank trades. And when you wait for trades that have all the confluences together, you're going to have a much better time than just going for willy-nilly B and C rank trades. Those B and C rank trades can come later once you've built, your decision-making ability, your contextual reading, and your discretion ability. But until then, wait for the A rank trades. They're the most quality setups for a reason and the most foolproof setups for a reason, which we'll talk about at the end of the video. So to break down this trade properly in depth, you saw the replay. Here were the confluences off the bat. So at the time of the trade setup here, the market had traded below the previous day value low and was aggressively bought up by buyers. Okay, so we had already broken back into value after testing below. On the pullback, right, we now had the developing value profile, the developing value area low, right across aligned with the previous day's value low. So 2 discount areas on the volume profile. Those were perfectly aligned. And then we also had the VWAP, discount VWAP band, or the -1 standard deviation band on the VWAP. So 1 standard deviation removed from VWAP, which we use as our added discount level, lining up in the exact same spot. So 3 discount levels there. If you're looking for a buy, you want to buy where the market is indicating it's a discounted price. When you have 3 discounts overlapping, that's a really, really perfect discounted spot. So you'd want to be getting in that discounted area. Luckily, they're all stacked so close together. They're entering right on the previous day value low level is the perfect entry point, right? Stop loss for oil, the range was really small. So I had placed down the stop loss there at 12 ticks. And initial target, like I always say, it's always a good idea to be in and out of a trade at point of control. In a trade, but then out of a trade at point of control. Even if that thing continues to pump, you'd want to at best just be holding a runner. Most of the time, if you try and hold through point of control, you're going to get burned in the long run. So exiting majority of position, if not all of it, at point of control, and being an A rank setup, it got a massive reaction all the way to previous day point of control and beyond. They ended up running a massive amount of ticks just not long after that trade entry, up 122 ticks total if you held that all the way to the very top, which of course, small balls, you probably wouldn't have. Okay, neither would I. But that's the type of thing that happens when you have multiple confluences aligned for the perfect trade setup. You often get a really, really good reaction from those levels. Now, I'm going to share something with you from inside the school on A-rank trades. Okay, like I said, inside the school community, one of our members, Chris Thornton, has been doing a lot of study and a lot of in-depth work on the volume profile trading. And he's shared something that echoes what I've been telling noobs for volume profile trading for a long, long time. Exactly about A-rank trade setup. So basically, what he's been tracking is he's taking these trades, right? It's not back test or cherry-picked trades. He's taking these trades, forward testing trades, using volume profile in the system he's learned inside, and he's grading them, okay? A, B, C rank, and then out of those A, B, and C ranks, he's also marking down the winning percentage. So how many out of those trades, what's the win rate for each grade of trade, A, B, C? Now, what's interesting is here, he's taken a total of 55 trades over 4 weeks, all right? And he's included everything, wins, losses, and everything, all right? So we'll get into each individual ABC in a second, but overall, 71% win rate, 27% losses, and 2% break even. And I've always said that's the benchmark for volume profile trading using the approach that I developed. Holding a 70% win rate is exactly where I'm sitting at. Sometimes I'm having a really bad time that will dip into the high to mid 60s. When I'm on a hot streak, it can go up to close to the high 80s, but normally it averages out to be around the 70% mark. So that's bang on so far. Directional analysis, out of those trades, he's taken 45% shorts, 55% longs. And I always say, don't marry your bias. Don't be afraid to trade both sides of the market. Volume profile allows us to take counter trend trades. It allows us to trade in any direction because we're just grabbing those one-to-one trades from probable pockets in the market. So pretty even split on longs and shorts. He's taken 10 A-grade trades, 15 B-grade trades, and 30 C-grade trades. And here's the interesting part, guys. Out of the grade A trades, so 3 confluences or more, 100% of them have won. 10 out of 10 trades have won. Of the Bs, 67%. Of the Cs, 63%. And this also goes to show, guys, even trading a C-grade trade, a single confluence trade, still is giving you, like I always say, a C-grade trade, although it's still your worst quality volume profile trade, it's still such a good weighted coin flip that you can afford to trade one-to-one on a C-grade trade. Still, one-to-one on C-grade, one-to-one on B-grade, one-to-one on A-grade, all of them have an edge, but combining them to make an A-grade trade gives you a much stronger edge, giving you that higher win rate. And what he's going to, and often you'll find too, the A-rank trades, like I showed with the oil trade today, also have the bigger reactions. So you can actually hold a runner on an A-grade trade. Myself personally, when I have an A-grade trade, I will get out at one-to-one for half the position and let the other half ride continuing, because I know most of the time grade A trades end up having a much bigger reaction than a B or a C grade trade, just because the market has a lot of reasons to react a certain way at an A grade point versus a B or C grade. And he's also adding in, as we've just recently added VWAP as an extra confluence to the volume profile framework, he's also noted down now moving forward with VWAP, wins where VWAP was used as a confluence, 81% of wins were using also VWAP as a tied-in confluence, which has been such a good complementary tool alongside the volume profile framework. And something else interesting here has been counting the win rate by how many times the levels have been tested. If you get an A rank, B rank, C rank setup, the first touch of that, 89%, second touch, 77%, third, fourth, fifth, that win rate decreases the more it gets tested, which is actually interesting. I've never tested that myself personally, but it makes a lot of sense. The first touch is often your most powerful, and he's quantifying that here as well. Going to be referring newbies to this post inside of the school community a lot, because I always say to people, if you're struggling, in any way, focus on taking A-rank trades, because A-rank trades have the highest likelihood of working out and have such a good statistical edge that when you find these setups, don't hesitate on them. Take the A ranks and don't try and force C rank and B rank trades, even though they still have a pretty good hit rate, in the 60%. It's exponentially increased by taking A ranks. This is a good way to track your stats and build your confidence. If you can see based on your data, the trades you've taken, how many of those A rank trades actually end up as winners, when it's close to 100%, you're going to be a pretty confident trader. You know your edge, okay, when the market hits these points, I'm more likely to win than lose by a long shot. So I'm going to execute with no fear. Maybe as time goes on, execute with more size, because I know these trades have a higher expectancy. I'll put some more size behind that. That's what I do personally. A-rank trades, I'll throw a lot of size behind them. So super valuable information inside the school here, guys. It's not just the course and the live streams. We got community members in here dedicated to, really making things work and sharing great information that's also even helping me. I'm seeing this data and I'm thinking, oh shit, I didn't think of it this way before, but it's reinforcing things we already know and saying, oh wow, this is, what we have here is really, really something special. So if you've been thinking about joining, I highly encourage you to come and check us out, even just try it for a month. I do encourage you to join soon, because I will be raising the price. I've kept $99 as the introductory price. If you join at $99, you lock that in for life. As long as you're a member, you keep $99. Even when I raise the price, $99 is always going to be your price point. Once I raise the price, if you haven't joined by then you get locked in at the higher price if you join after that point. And believe me when I say, guys, the school group is currently at the value area low in terms of discount. It's about to go above point of control, because what I've got here and what we've built here is far more valuable than 99.9% of trading groups out there. Most are frauds and scams. This is something based off real data, real facts, a real trader as myself, and a system that actually works. And we got tons of member wins rolling in already. All right, and something like this can't stay underpriced for too long. So if you're thinking about joining, come join. Otherwise, I'll see you again tomorrow for the last video of the week.